Stephanie from the Montessori Place. So, today I want to talk about how you, as a caregiver, can manage your fears or the need to manage your fears. Fear is actually a learned behavior. We as humans are born with a natural desire to be curious. In fact, in order for us to learn about our world and to learn new things, we need to explore and be curious. So, instilling fear inhibits that. So, I want to tell you a story about myself and how I, too, am working to manage my fear. When I was a young child, in my early teens, I went on a skiing trip with a youth group. And I didn't know anything about skiing at all. And my friends told me, don't get poles. They'll be more of a hindrance to you. Just use the skis. So I didn't get any poles. Also, I was told it was artificial snow. The area where I lived didn't get a lot of snow. Well, I didn't know what that meant, and perhaps this was a dense moment of mine, but I was thinking it wasn't going to be cold. So I didn't pack any gloves. So here I am, freezing. I'm told not to use poles. I grab onto the rope pull to pull me up the bunny slope, and not knowing at all what I'm doing, how to use skis. I don't have a firm stance, and I proceed to get dragged up the entire rope pull, because if I had let go, I would have then toppled everyone over behind me. Well, then I get to the top of the bunny slope and I'm attempting to ski. And it was quite crowded on that hill, so I thought I'm going to go to the bigger hill. And I proceeded to ski down that hill a couple of times. Now, I was by no means any sort of natural. In fact, I was falling and becoming such an obstacle that the safety patrol at the bottom of the hill told me I needed to stop skiing, that I needed to stay off the hill because I was a danger to myself and others. Well, fast forward to today, and my family is preparing to go on a ski trip with friends. Needless to say, I am very anxious from my first experience skiing. Now, granted, I did have one other experience skiing with my husband after this fateful event, and he knew of it. He spent the whole day skiing backwards, teaching me skiing, and that was a very nice event, but still, those fears have risen again. And yes, my children know of my fears, but it's important for them to see that I have learned from them and my fears are not going to inhibit me from trying again. I've learned that I need to take a class when we go so that I am prepared and ready to go out on the snow. And I also need to face my fears. If I am prepared and such, there's nothing to keep me from trying again. I should try again. Another instance is in the middle of COVID, my family moved. Now, my husband was not able to move with us, so I had to move my 2 dogs, my 3 kids, and pull a trailer. And it took us a couple of days of driving, and I was by myself and a very anxious person. I was very fearful and nervous during this whole trip. But again, I couldn't let that stop me. I had to do this. I could not be scared. And my children would see me. And so we planned together that everybody would have a job, that my daughter would sit in the front seat and kind of keep track of the map, and my sons would keep track of the dogs and manage them so I could watch the road and watch myself pulling the trailer behind. So think about some of the fears that you have. And remember, children can sense our feelings and they mirror back to us. So if we're letting our fears dominate us or our anxiety really show through, and we don't necessarily take the time to explain it to our children or to show our children that we're willing to try, then that becomes a fear for them. And it's unwarranted because they haven't had the experience really to develop that fear. I want you to think of things that you could be fearful of, that you may be projecting to your child. Are you fearful of going to the dentist? Are you fearful of letting your child walk to the bus stop on their own and stand and wait for the bus on their own? Are you fearful of your child playing at the playground and thinking that they may fall and get hurt? So how can you manage this? One, be aware of it. And if you need to, sometimes you just need to hide it and really not let it be seen. And by hiding it, you may need to have a pep talk with yourself so that you're not projecting anxiety and saying something else. You need to fake it till you make it sometimes. Other times, share your fear and why you have that fear, but don't let that fear become your child. Show your child that you're willing to try to overcome it, or you're not going to let your fear hold your child back. If you are finding my tips helpful, please subscribe to my channel. In the meantime, follow me on Facebook at The Montessori Place.